All right, welcome back to the 80 Star Basketball Channel, the only star basketball channel that is at Burbank. So I actually put this together really quick. I'm going to get the Burbank video out hopefully in a couple days. We'll see, but wanted to throw together something that I thought was really cool. I've actually talked to and talking to people. People are kind of like, well, where are you? What are you getting? What are you looking at right now? And kind of as I've tried to say in my videos, I'm a little focused on the 101. So actually, I'll save that for the very end, which I used this chart. Someone in the Facebook group. Andre, thank you for the chart. This is fantastic. I'll talk to this in a minute, but I'm going to give you a spoiler alert that on this video, I'm going to be talking undervalued. What I see is undervalued or potential things that are harder to get. If you want to collect like everything star, these would be the things that I would say, like right now, have the biggest chance of like either jumping in value or are a little different and they're hard to get. So you may not like them. A lot of people don't like them, but all of a sudden, if everyone does start liking them, they're going to be very, very valuable because there's just the scarcity is there. So I think that you'll find this list. I only have 6 things that I think are undervalued as far as star. So if you're a newbie, this wouldn't really be the place that I would say to start. You'd probably just be getting bags and sets of, the standard Jordan cards, star cards. That's what most people collect, or Jordan Star. And, that's a great place to start. Again, if you're going to start with Jordan Star, I would recommend just getting the base set cards and the CK26, the slam dunk 5x7. So, well, not the slam dunk. It's just actually it's the blue bordered one for the people who don't know. But I'll talk to that in a few. But so I wanted to start out number one, where I think are undervalued cards or things that if they do, again, you may not agree with this whole list, but these were ones that if I was going to buy and diverge from my 101 chase, this would be where I would go into at first. And the first spot is shop at home cards. I think shop at home cards are used to be taboo because they're kind of like considered fake. If you didn't know, these are Robert Levin came out with these. He reprinted some cards. These are what you hear with the whole controversy and all the misinformation that these were created and basically like backdated to say that they were printed prior and then released later. So he basically did this as a money making thing to put on Shop at Home Network. So they're basically kind of fraudulent cards, but they are from printing plates. They are actually like made. So that's what's kind of weird about these things, but they're not legit licensed cards. But they do have a very strong, following or people. They're hard to get now. So they've become valuable. If you see these come up, there's a chase on them pretty quick. I actually would love to get these cards. So looking at this, what's called for the Bulls Arena, and just going through the Facebook, just kind of showing a closer picture of that one, like here. This, as you know, is on his first 5x7 for, or not the first 5x7, just the first Bulls, the CB1. So this is the first team like 5x7, but this is a regular size card and they use this photo on this. So something like this that is really, really cool to find that is not licensed. But these things, since there is a demand for them and finding them, you can get them in those bags, and it's a hot pickup. And these could actually, if enough people start going for them, which I've seen, the demand increase, these could definitely get a little hot. The other thing is not a surprise is I'm going to say is I'm going to lump these two guys together is Barkley and Olajuwon. To me, I am noticing that PSA copies of Barkley and Olajuwon rookies just keep climbing. I do not have a PSA copy in either, so I'm not like saying bye to these copies. I just noticed that BGS copies are still kind of they've increased a hair, but I have noticed that PSA copies continually just are still going up slowly but steady. So these are cards that I see that will continue to rise because these are two major stars. And it's the two that I've noticed that have risen more even. I noticeably omit Stockton and Drexler because I don't see them having the same rise as Barkley and Olajuwon. So that's kind of the number two. The third that I'm going to point out that I think are undervalued is bags. And the catalyst, the reason why I say this is because they have a catalyst coming that I believe will happen. It is possible it doesn't happen, but if it does, then you can see a demand spike for bags. Star bags, and especially ones that are in good condition, will be a chase once it starts and people start getting like and going after PSA graded stuff like, oh, bags are legit, and they can tell. So when that actually starts happening, I think you will see a nice price bump, and especially for really nice bags. How they do it and how they grade them, I don't know. So we'll see, and we'll deal with that when we get there, and what they decide to put out. But I did want to say, and just in terms of bags, like look at this from June 2020, the Mavericks bag, $405. And I'm going to use the last comp on here of November 4th, the last one selling for 4,500. And I do know of another comp of over 4,000 for the Mavericks bag about a month ago. So this is, and they did peak at about 5,500. So, bags are, especially rare bags, but bags in nice condition. This would be someplace that if you're looking for, maybe more advanced collectors and they know about it already, not saying anything that kind of isn't known, but I do think that when this catalyst happens, don't go after the fact, go before. If you're looking like, hey, I want to collect bags, well, kind of now is a better time than no other time to go after them. So bags are definitely there too. So the other thing I want to talk about is, and this is, I have a bias for these, and the reason I actually picked these up is because I really love them for displays. And I was going to try and complete an 83 set, which is Uncut Sheets. And I think Uncut Sheets and Sports Card Madness also put out a thing. They think Uncut Sheets are undervalued too. The guy, he's just talking about them from a business perspective. They're just rare, but a lot of people I don't know how to store them. And I'm kind of like, well, just put it on your wall. Frame it and get it on your wall. They really are the awesomest piece, and they're a conversation starter, but absolutely love them. I was hoping to make an 83 set, and now that isn't possible. So I kind of lost my luster for collecting a bunch of them, and because you only have so much wall space. So I'm kind of paring it down a little bit, but I'm going to keep a couple that I really, really like. But Uncut Sheets, these are the ones that, potentially, and also potential kind of, I don't want to say fraudulent value, but people can get these. And guess what? If you have a mint sheet, you can cut them and you can get mint cards. And that's what some people have done. I won't name names, but that I know that have done. People have told me about other people doing it. But that is something that happens in the hobby, is that uncut sheets get cut and you get very nice copies. So essentially, you can get, for just having some mint copies of card in a sheet. I will not cut them, but I know it is possible. You can't turn a blind eye to what is possible. So uncut sheets, I find they're very, very rare. And right now, if enough people and all of a sudden they took off for whatever reason, which I don't really see happening in the fact that there's no catalyst I can think of, but they're just very, very cool. But with a limited supply, as more have gotten cut and more are out, for the people who do want them, you can't get them, very easily. So that's another spot that I find. Also, I'm going to focus on the next two cards are kind of no brainers. But this card I see, the 117 Jordan's second year base card. This is a card that I see as undervalued. Why? Is because it has a catalyst. It PSA grading. This card peaked, I think, for a BGS 9 at about 5,500, and now you can get a BGS 9 for somewhere around 2,500. I think the last three comps are right around there. And this card I see is unloved. And the reason why is essentially the PSA crossover. So this, I'm a little less sure if PSA is going to do it. But the problem is once they do it, that's going to be you're already after the fact. So it's a great card, and BGS grades it. It's in a higher grade. You find it in a higher grade much more often because the quality got a lot better later on. Even though there's type twos, which are just printing errors that were supposed to be cut, but some did get out. But these cards are definitely, I see as these could potentially jump. So if you're looking to get one, it's kind of that better be safe than sorry. And full disclosure, I do own one, but it's just something that might has a possibility of jumping because if PSA starts grading, these are going to take a pretty heavy jump. So just an FYI. And then going to the number one, this I think would be debatable by people, but to me isn't debatable at all. Really is the most undervalued card I find, and where I'm putting my money and my focus, and have been. And actually, I switched. I did when I had there was one point I had four 101s, and I started diverging and do a bunch of different stuff. And then I, unfortunately, even before everything jumped, I sold a couple. So I was out a few before everything even went up. And then I went, whoa. And then I saw how fast the 101s, I knew they could jump overnight. I didn't think that they would jump like that. So I started diverging from other stuff and into, because this is the place that I think can go up strongest again. And in my case, data modeling and looking at just what I believe, this should, and especially with what's happening now with all the Jordan 90s inserts going up. To me, it's funny. People will justify those, but they can't. They're shocked that this one has a perception change in the hobby. Now is almost, to me, the best time to get into this card. The perception, the why is because the macros all got better and the population's still pretty much the same. And the whole hobby took notice. And this is getting more, especially recently, things like, here, Steve Aoki just bought the card, bought a BGS 9. So, things like this that are big. And look, Heritage Auction, this was just plastered on the local news when Heritage was selling the 8.5, the 101 right at the forefront here. So this is just kind of mainstream media. But in 2024, you had all the social media people like Jeff Wilson and Sports Card Dad and Sports Card Live, and you had so many people coming out and saying, and even Beckett, when I had my interview with Beckett saying, I get that. And people of the now, he kind of conceded or said, hey, if someone new in the hobby, they were looking at this card, they would say, hey, this is an earlier card of Jordan. Things like this that are being said and talked about. So it got so much more exposure, for everything in the hobby. And, that's basically why I see. But look at this chart. Look at this again. Andre put this together, showing the main rookies. How many of this is just talking the PSA population and PSA 10 pop count. And I'm not sure if this is even going with, and this isn't even every single, like rookie card but just looking at even just one type of Panini Prism Victor's. I don't even know if this has the different variations and everything. But if you have 40,000 and you have almost 30,000 of a PSA 10, but look at the Fleer. Just look at this graph. Even looking at the Julius Erving, the pop counts of all these basketball icons, and look at the pop count of the Star Jordan. So, I mean, it's just really, really obvious. Hopefully this helps kind of shed a little visual to, what it looks like. And to me, if you look at it and how I see it is the 57 Fleer is a third year card. So if there is only one Michael Jordan rookie card and the 101 is it, then this card to me, should be worth a lot more. And I know, with the spike and down, I hope it goes up slowly, because when you get those big price spikes, those pullbacks become, when people try and take profits, those things, they kind of jack the market. But the market is what it is. So I say, to me, this has the greatest history and the, best card. And I've said that from day one, and I will continue saying that. And until it hits the price point that, I would say that, hey, okay, this is fair value. But I see that still has a long way to go in my mind. And I'll talk about that when I do talk about the data modeling for types. I pared that down to a video. I've kind of got the outline for it much, much simpler than I had big, but I'm still going to do it. So if you made it this far in the video, hats off to you. But these are what I think are the going to be, or are areas that, that you can find value in or could jump faster. So if you're interested in looking into getting into these, I would say now is as good as time as any. And I will see you at the next video.